everyone. My name is Zara Mikanol, a second year BSED student of Norso Main Campus. Today I will be presenting my Pecha Kucha presentation entitled The Dick and Carey Model. This presentation was adopted from Mr. or Dr. Serhat Kurt of 2016. This model is known as the system approach model because despite the seemingly complicated diagrams that pop up when searching up for an image, the steps are often only connected as far as what they do to help you figure out what to teach and how to teach it. It is composed of 10 stages: identify instructional goals, write performance objectives, develop criterion reference tests, develop instruction strategy, develop select instructional materials, develop and conduct formative evaluation, develop and conduct summative evaluation, identify entry behaviors, and conduct instructional analysis and revise instruction. The next one is instructional goals. You have to figure out instructional goals and align your goals. This means that you are determining the skills that your students will and need to learn what you plan to teach them. Conduct instructional analysis. You have to determine the current state of skills and knowledge of your learners, meaning to say that your students will need to learn what you plan to teach them. Some may need to have a history of the topic before they are willing to listen to your instruction. Consider the skills that will be involved to achieve goals. This can be assessed through interviews, surveys, observation, and different forms of testing depending on the nature of the skills of your students. You have to always take a good look at the people that you'll be instructing. Next is to identify the entry behaviors. You have to identify the attitudes and the skills the learners will enter learning the tasks with. So you have to learn their current skills in order for you to assess what their improvements are at the end of the lesson. The next one is you have to assess their strengths and weaknesses. So every learner have their different strengths and weaknesses. That is why you need to know all of this. Some may be good at remembering dates, so you have to help them improve with it. And have some are having trouble with talking, so these skills will be crucial to the lesson success with each student. Performance objectives. This is the equivalent of the SWBAT or student will be able to that many American classrooms must have as of this writing. These details will help you make sure that you are teaching your students what matters most from the lesson. Next one is the criterion reference test items is consistent with performance objectives that will reflect what you're hoping to teach the students. It is referring back to notes you have made will help you figure out what to test. These are meant to help the students understand what they have or have not mastered yet. You have to ask questions and test their knowledge. So you have to ask questions related to the topics that you have discussed. If you have discussed about science, you will ask them questions related to science. Instructional strategy. It is you will outline lesson plan, demonstrate what you want them to learn, and you will add segments. If you want to have group activities, now is the time to decide when and what materials will be covered by the activity that you will have. Here is the instructional media wherein you have to be equipped with the tools that you need for the lesson. Example, if you are talking about computers, then you have to go to the computer lab and you have to equip yourself with the tools that you need for your lesson so that there will be no interruptions when you are doing your presentation. You have to make sure that the tools you have works. Meaning to say that you have to test your tools if they are working before you start your class because this could also lead to distractions when you are starting your lesson. If it malfunctions, then it will disrupt the flow of your lesson. The next one is the formative evaluation, wherein you have to evaluate how the lesson went. How were the reactions? Were there some students who aren't too thrilled with the group work that you have prepared? Did your groups not work well? Or did some students sit back while others did all the work, expecting to ride along for a good grade? You also have to assess how did you group the students? How did the students participate? By asking these questions, you will assess that having the students be in an individual work or in a group of four can make them more interactive, or a group of eight will be less interactive. How did the students participate? Did they enjoy the activity? So by doing this, you will be able to assess how well did you prepare the lesson. The next one is the summative evaluation, which is to revise the class. If there's one activity that no one has ever liked, it will be worth cutting it out and replacing it with something else. So you have to ask your class what are the things that they don't like so you could replace it with something better. You also have to make sure that the process works over again. So if you are going to reteach using the same process, make sure that it works and is effective for other learners. So this is a way that you will have to revise what works and what doesn't. The next one is to look back. You have to assess yourself. Did it work out for you? Did you create a better lesson plan than you had before? Or did it work against you? Did you find yourself spending too much time on one area? So these are the questions that you have to ask yourself in order for you to be better. And lastly is to know yourself. Before completely beating yourself up over not spending time on one area, you already know the answer for that area and it will make your job easier. If you know that you did not do well in that particular area, then you have to revise that particular area. And that would be all for my discussion in the Dick and Carey model. Thank you for listening.